Oh yes, now family ammo, welcome back to another video on Jazza TV. Today we're going to talk about the rules meeting. The rule meetings that you have before a boxing fight, another insight, what people will never see. So when you're boxing for the title, world titles, I think it's only world titles. I might be wrong here, I can't remember. I must have had over like 15 title fights, but I do specifically remember rules meetings at world title fights. Now, fighting for a few different governing bodies, you might class the IBO, but I do as a governing body. That's a world title organisation. The IBF is a world title organisation, and the WBA world title organisation. Now, every one of them has slightly different rules, pretty much the same, 12 3-minute rounds, obviously. But what they do go on about in the rules meeting is things that boxing fans, when they're watching boxing, they talk about it, promoters talk about it. Seen one just recently over, it might have been Ben Shalom, talking about the fly gloves that Fabio Wardley wore. Now, saying that they played a part in the win and the damage that it caused on Fraser Clark. I have fought against somebody for a world title in a similar pair of gloves. I fought Kid Gallagher for the IBF world title, and he was wearing them flies, and I felt his knuckles. I could feel his knuckles in it. I got an eye clash which opened a cut in my eye, and then every punch afterwards you could feel a knuckle, and the eye was just swelling. In the end, both eyes were closed over, and I couldn't see nothing. Now, am I complaining about that? Definitely not, because like I say, it's my job to move my head, and gloves aren't there to designed for your face, you know what I mean? So that's how I see it. Now, I'm not too sure on this, but when you're wrapping your hands, keep on this topic for hand protection, I don't think you actually need wraps. But in the case of everyone, well, most fighters do wear wraps, don't they? But when you're wrapping your hands, you're only allowed on some organisations, you're only allowed 3 strips of tape going this way vertically up the hand. Now, you're not allowed to stack the hands. You'll have a board, you'll have somebody in the rules meeting to tell you, we're going to have a board, somebody from the board or from the commission who's going to watch you wrap your hands. Also, in the other corner, we're going to have someone from his team, someone from the commission wrapping their hands. You don't have to worry about whether their hands are going to be illegally wrapped, because our commission's there. But if you want assurance, you can send somebody in from your own team into the other team to watch them getting their hands wrapped. So they said they'll ask you what time you're going to get your hands wrapped roughly, and then what we'll do, we'll come and let you know before we start wrapping the hands. Your team member can be there to watch it, and also the person from the commission, from the board, will come and watch it, and they'll let you know. And once the hands are wrapped, the board member will sign the hand. You'll agree with them and say whatever, you best of luck, and then you go on your way. So with them gloves, on the rules meeting, a lot of fighters don't go to rule meetings. I don't know why. I always like to be in the rules meeting, because I'm the one fighting. Inside the rules meeting, they're going to give you the rules of the fight. What happens if somebody goes down? What happens if some situations fighters can be saved by the bell? Most I think maybe it's all of them only in the last round. So these are the little things that these are the things that they're going to tell you in the board meeting. So when it comes to the gloves, you got to have 3 pair of boxing gloves. You got to have your gloves that you're going to wear, a pair for your opponent, and a spare pair in case they do rip. I have seen fight gloves rip, and they had to bring the spare pair in. The spare pair with a different colour, so one, I think it was the left hand, was and the right hand, they were different colour gloves. But anyway, that does happen. We've seen, I think it might have been Terence Crawford against David Avanesian. When we look back after the fight, the glove had burst, and it's for this reason. That's why you have a spare pair of gloves. They'll be left with somebody at ringside when you go out. Now, Fraser, in the case of Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley, Fraser could have also said, okay then, I'll take them spare pair of flies that you're not wearing. I'll take them flies that you're not wearing, and now we've got the same glove on. When it comes to when you're in the rules meeting, you can try your gloves on and you can try your opponent's gloves on. Sometimes coaches try and get a little bit of an advantage, a bit of an angle. If you're fighting on an away show, sometimes you're contracted. First time I fought Kid Galahad was on a Channel 5 show, Hennessy show, on Channel 5. That was for a British title, and I was contracted to wear whatever gloves they chose for me to wear. At the time I was fighting for Ricky Hatton Promotions, and Ricky Hatton used to wear Reyes. They had a pair of Reyes. They're the best gloves I've ever wore, to be honest. Hatton Reyes, they're brilliant gloves, and they're a little bit different. They had a blue on the inside. They were really good gloves, and they were the gloves of my choice, obviously. But I was made to fight in Grants, and I had no choice about it, because I'm not too sure if it was contracted, but my team ended up bending and saying, okay then we'll wear the Grants. But I never wore a pair of Grants, and the Grants didn't fit with my hands. I feel like the fingers are out a little bit too far. It's not more of a square fist, the fingers come out a little bit on the Grants, so I didn't like them. I wore them anyway, and these are the little tricks that you get in the rules meeting. So putting the glove in the hand, you'll feel the gloves, you'll say to the commissioner, look, that's that glove, feel that glove, that's not right, that can't be a legal glove. Now I don't know is there a certain amount of padding that you need to have in a glove? I'm not too sure, because otherwise why would they complain? I think a glove does have to be foam. If it's going to be a horsehair glove, it still has to have a layer of foam too. So even horsehair gloves aren't just horsehair gloves nowadays. So that's one thing about the rules meeting. Like I say, they do go back and forth complaining and stuff like that, and some teams are eager to get in the complaints right away. So what happens with the complaints is, when you are fighting somebody, you've got to fight. You've got your tactics. You're working on tactics for the fight. One thing you'll notice about your opponent, if he's a dirty fighter, like, you want to get across to the referee. Referee, he holds a lot, or referee, he's terrible with the elbows or the head. You got to watch him. Please, ref, don't let my game plan be disrupted because somebody's cheating, basically. So you want to get your point across right away. And I find when you do this with the referees, it can be quite annoying, because you're patronising the referee. You're saying to the referee, basically, you're not competent enough to do your job. So I don't like to say that. I don't like to complain the referee's good enough. He'll just know that anyway. He knows these fighters, if you're fighting for a world title, you're pretty much at a level where the referee's going to know who you are anyway. He's involved in boxing. He knows what you do wrong, and the referee gets experience around you, being in the ring with you as well. Some fighters obviously can be a nightmare for referees. The referee's not always having to get involved because he's holding, he's clinching, or he's being quite dirty, and the referee has to keep telling him, look, you do that again and want to take a point off. And then so say like 1 minute he's standing on your toe, so you keep standing on the toe and want to take a point off. Next minute he's not standing on your toe no more, he's looking at his elbow, you know what I mean, or like, you keep doing that, I'm gonna have to take a point off, you know what I mean. So some fighters can be like that, and they can be hard for the referees to work with. So to complain to the referee before you've even started fighting, I don't think that you should do that. I think you should give the referee the benefit of the doubt. But some coaches do actually want to get it in there and then. They want to set the tone, and they say, fucking hell, have you seen how high his shorts are? Look at his waistband on his shorts, they're too high. He's not protected, and then therefore he can pull the ball protector up over his ribs. So some fighters do that as well. So yeah, what else is there at the rules meeting? Yeah, so the bottles of water, you're only allowed clear bottles of water. I think was it Panama Lewis who maybe, I'm not too sure. They had a fight, they had asthma tablets, I think it might have been, which opened the airways for the fighter. So now every fighter, I think they're assigned by the board. I'm not too sure if they are assigned by the border control of water? They should be, shouldn't they? But yeah, even in that case, you're only allowed clear bottles. There's got to be nothing in the water. You can't have juice, obviously. You can give you carbohydrates, can't at mid-fight and stuff like that. So that's one thing that they'll explain to you. So the rules meeting will take place after the weigh-in most times. And I'm going to say to you, when you fight for the IBF title, you're going to weigh in tomorrow morning, maybe like call it 8 o'clock or something like that. You're only allowed to put on 10 pounds, which is mad. So some fighters are actually making the weight the morning of the fight because they've gained maybe 14 pounds overnight, which is very realistic for boxing. 14, and then they've got to lose another 2 pounds in the morning. So that's a real situation with the IBF. When there's a unification fight, that rule doesn't come into play. So the IBF follows the WBC, WBO and WBA's rule, and you don't have it on the day weigh-in with the IBF. But it's a bit of a mad one because it's a £10 weight limit for the cruiserweight and a £10 weight limit for the flyweight. Should be maybe call it like a 20% rule no matter what the weight is. So I don't know about that one. They'll explain to you about the scoring system and what happens if it's a draw. They go over quite a lot, and the teams go back and forth with a few questions. What about this? What about that? And as I say, each commission changes slightly, so it's not always the same. So I think I would advise fighters, it's good for you to listen, isn't it, to understand. Oh yeah, there actually is a board meeting, and what they'll say tomorrow, the referee will come into your changing room and give you instructions for the fight. So before the fight, based on yesterday's conversation, the referee does come in and says, right, he'll say, shake your hand, I ref, when we're in the fight here now, this is what I want. I don't want no breaking, I don't want no working on the clinch, I don't want you punching in the back of the head, rabbit shot it's called. Anything will tell you where the rabbit punch is. So anything behind the ear. So in MMA you can punch to ear, I'm sure you can, but that's the back of the head in MMA obviously. But from boxing I think it's beyond the ear, behind the ear. That's a foul. He'll tell you where the waistband is. He'll say if your shorts are a bit high, you got the waistband's a bit long, so he'll tell you where about the body shot is. Now when we had Daniel Dubois against Alexander Usyk, the body shot, for me, in my opinion, the waistband was high. I don't think the body shot was low. I'd give that as a body shot. I'd class that as a illegal punch, but it weren't. And he'll tell you other things. What else will he tell you? He'll tell you if you put your opponent down, I'm going to tell you to go to a neutral corner. I can't start the count until you go to the neutral corner. The neutral corner is the white corners. So that's something he'll also tell you, because before Market at Queensberry, it wasn't, no, even when the Market at Queensberry rules came in, for a long time you could hover over your opponent, couldn't you? And you have to fact check me on that one there, but you could hover over your opponent, and as soon as he's on 2 feet, then you can steam him back in. That means he's up and he's ready to go. But he'll also explain to you about situations where if you do go down, like the Josh Warrington situation, where people say the referee's a fucking joke. The referee's explained this to Warrington already. I want a sign, I want a clear sign. So if you do go down, I'm going to call your name. The referee is going to give you a code word, so to speak. So you say, I'm going to call you James, I'm going to call you Jazza, but if I call you James, I want you to get your hands up, and I want you to take a step towards me and look me in the eyes. The referee will say that to you. So when you turn away like Josh Warrington did, it was Josh Warrington fighting Lee Wood, he's fighting Lee Wood. So when he turns away, I understood why he turns away actually. He thought, it's pointless even looking you in the eye, the bell's gone, just get back to my corner, get myself steady again. But the referee has already explained to him before that fight, this is what I want you to do in a case where if you do go down. So that's what they come and explain all this to you. what else would they got a few little things like that they'll explain to you. So we know this, we've been told, not only when we're in the boxing ring and when fans are seeing it for the first time, they're live action. Boxers have already been sort of told this twice. First day in the rules meeting, second day in the changing room before you go to a fight. So yeah, that's a little insight to what goes on in the rules meetings. Everything that goes on in a professional ring has already been checked, it's already been accepted by both parties. So yeah, it's pointless coming out of a rules meeting. There's your time to object. The fight mightn't go ahead. You see in cases like Kell Brook fought Amir Khan. Amir Khan had been contracted to wear a certain glove. It might have been them fly gloves, and Khan didn't want him to wear them flies. And they would have known about this in the rules meeting, and then the next day they were already, maybe they were endorsed by Fly to wear the gloves. They had to wear the gloves, and they caught in a situation where they want everyone to know, look, Khan's trying to throw me off here, he's trying to have me off. I'm not worried about what he's wearing, but they won't let us play by the rules that we want to play with, which can be seen as an unfair advantage. So therefore, Kell Brook walked to the ring with his gloves on. They must have agreed there and then, he must have pushed it to the wire, because you can have a dispute and you can say, alright then, I'm not fighting, and you say, alright then, fuck off. Or you can say, oh no, don't be like that, we need to save the show, there's a lot of money on to the show. So coaches and fighters will push it, and managers will push it to the wire in these situations, and someone's going to give in, Andy, or someone's going to cut their nose off to spite the face, and then no one wins, and that's the way it can be. So they actually walked through the ring, showed everyone, look, they're making us change our gloves. So that was an interesting one, and I know the story behind this. People watching it going, what's going on here, what's he doing, why is he doing this? And there could be a few reasons why that happened, but yeah, it's a good little insight to what actually goes on behind the scenes. There might be some more, maybe do a part 2 on this. Well, there is some more, but yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and leave a comment.